6 years down the line, 2024 it is, and on 28th March, it'll be, everybody's film, The Goat Life. So if you could just take us through the journey, and of course we want to see your reaction, when you see it finally with the media, with the Indian audiences, the trailer. So if you could just take us through.
Thank you to all of you for being here today. It's a very special evening for all of us. It's a very special film. Not just for the team that's made it, but I think it's a very special film for multiple reasons, which we will speak about as time progresses. The journey didn't start in 2018. The journey started in 2009. 2008, 2009 is when Mr. Blessy got the rights to this wonderful book that was, of course, based on Mr. Najeeb's real life, written by Benny Amin. And he one day called me and said, I'd like to come and meet you. And in 2009, as it is even today, in the Malayalam film industry, when director Blessy calls you, you pick up your phone, right? Because he, much like back then, even today, he is one of the most coveted filmmakers the Malayalam industry has. And for us, actors in Malayalam, a Blessy film is a box that all of us want to tick off at least once in our life. So, to go back to 2009, I am this young actor who's trying to come to terms with what I am, and how I'm trying to discover myself as an actor. Blessy, the Blessy, calls me and says he's doing this dream film, which is his ultimate vision for his directorial career, and he wants me to play the lead in it. And I'm like, okay. So that's when the journey started. But it took us 10 years. It took us 10 years to finally get this film rolling, because even back in 2009, Mr. Blessy's vision for the film was so gigantic, it was so huge, that at that period in time, it was next to impossible to envisage something like this from the Malayalam industry. Luckily, in the 10 years that ensued, a lot of things changed. The industry dynamics changed. Our revenue streams, obviously, became bigger and more proliferated. And finally, even though it still remained a huge risk when we started in 2018, finally we were able to do it. And from the very get, set, go, Blessy was very, very particular that this is not going to be a green screen studio film. He always knew that he wanted to go to the real locations, the terrains, and organically shoot it in a real environment, and that's exactly what he did. But unfortunately, shooting the film was just the beginning of our struggles, because 2018 we started shoot, and as you all know, the pandemic came in between, and we had to suspend our shoot for 1.5 years. But we never gave up. When the world reopened, we went back to Algeria, to the middle of the Sahara Desert, to Timimoun. I don't know the places that we have been, if a film crew's ever even seen. We were that deep in the desert. Jimmy, myself, we shot in Algeria for a month. Then we came back to Jordan. We finished what we could not finish when we started in 2018. Then we finally came back to Kerala and wrapped the film in 2022. So it is an epic 16-year-long journey. I am 41 years old, and 16 years of my life I've been associated with this film. That's a significant portion of one's life, and a more than significant portion of one's adult life. So for me, on the 28th of March, many things culminate, only one of which is a film. So yeah, thank you for being part of this very special journey.
Wow, I think this title of the film definitely goes with the journey of the film. Every breath is a battle indeed. Well said, Prithviraj. Now we are open to media for Q&A, so we can have quick questions, please. Can we have a mic?
Because the book that Benjamin has written is based on a real life that Mr. Najeeb has lived, and the film that Blessy has made is based on the book that Benjamin has written. So much like the book is an encapsulated version of the experience that the man has lived through, the film can only always be an encapsulated version of the literature on paper. Because the thing with literature on print is that you have the liberty of micro-detailing. So you can detail every single moment in the character arc when you're writing it down. If we were to make a film that would then capture every detail that is written, this would at the very least be a 10-hour long film. So I think at the very beginning, Blessy told me what I'm trying to do is not recreate the book, but what I'm trying to do is try and make the audience feel what I imagine Najeeb must have felt. And that was a cornerstone of designing the performance arc as well. I realized at the beginning that the character is so complex and the arc has got so many crests and troughs that it is going to be impossible for me to look at it as one giant character arc. I'll have to break it down in my mind. So Blessy and me decided that we are going to break down the narrative into 3 parts. Of course, there is one part that is not included in these 3, which is who he was before he lands up in the desert. What he was back in Kerala, what he used to do, his family, what did he leave behind before he gets trapped in the desert. So that is one part of his life that will come to you in little pieces, segments of flashbacks in the first half of the film. But that aside, I think Blessy had this wonderful idea that we have to break down the narrative into 3 phases. So the 3 phases, phase 1 is when he lands up in the desert and he realizes that he's stuck. That first phase of actually trying to fight the circumstances and trying to find a way out, and the phase of denial where he's thinking, no, this can't be, I have to get out of this place. And the performance is metered to that emotional graph where he's just not ready to believe that this is happening. So the performance is metered like that. Then the narrative breaks at one point, and then you see him a few months later. Where he's slightly thinner, his hair is grown, his beard is grown, many days, many months actually. And I should thank him for letting the actor's interpretation take so much space into the style of filming, because he did actually then design the way he filmed the entire film on this classification that I just told you about. Sorry? Oh, the physical transformation involved not eating.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, just...
Not eating?
Yeah.
How many days in a row?
Yeah, so actually I mean it quite literally. I guess this is a good month to be talking about it because my transformation was largely based on fasting. And there was a consensus between my trainer, my nutritionist, the doctors on set, we had doctors on sets, that there is no healthy way to do it, that there is no healthy way that somebody can lose 31 kilos. So you just try and be as safe as you can. So it was largely based on fasting, and it used to be sometimes up to 72 hours at a stretch. Yeah.
Congratulations to the team. This is on the left, on your left. Hanji, this is an...
You had a survival story of your own. In the beginning, there has been a space which, like many other legends, people wouldn't have believed in you. What was your mantra of survival? And what do you think about art and passion? How do the two need to equate and blend so well to create a project like this?
Thank you for your very kind words. I'm really blessed to be in this project because I didn't get, when they first came to me, I didn't get how big it was. I was in my own chaos. I was trying to do things. But this man was very persistent. So he came, told the story, and then I gave him a few tunes. Then it was a process of understanding what they were doing. Then I finally went to Jordan, looked at what kind of commitment. And there's a lot of learning process in this team where I've learned so much. Yeah. And for me, my process is always like I'm the first listener. I'm the first audience. if I'm not happy, I never think that, oh, I don't like it, but they will like it. I never think like that. So even if everybody likes it and I still feel like there's a change it needs to have, I'll stop everything. I anger all the producers, everybody, but I think art is for me that even to the last minute, if something has to be improved, I just want to do that because that's the way I've made myself, set the foundation for my art, for my studio, everything, my whole team. And it's difficult because sometimes you go through success, sometimes you go through failure. But if you believe and you feel like you're honest with your work, it rises up after some years or after a few months. So that's my mantra, I think. Yeah, thanks.
And my question to Resul sir and Prithvi sir, there are moments in our life where you speak about the three phases that you've divided the movie into. There are moments in our life that we also live in a state of denial, and then it translates to anger, and then it's acceptance. And especially in terms of, we are all surviving every day. I want to know, there's a song that we saw of hope. Have there been moments in your life which you remember or recollect where you tend to lose hope? And how did you actually believe and make it, bigger eventually?
That question is to
To you, yeah.
it's a pretty tough question actually. That was supposed to be to Prithvi, right?
To you.
Hope. I think hope is that makes us survive this whole chaos. I was always been hopeful. I came into the Indian Hindi film industry, especially in 1995, when nobody was thinking of doing, recording cinema live. And I always thought that, we in Indian cinema always keep actors as mimers, And I wanted to start that, in Indian cinema, and we started doing it very slowly and steadily. And when I came out of my film institute, there was less than 1% of Indian cinema was being shot live with live sound. And today, more than 55-60% of Indian cinema is adopted the technology and giving their audience the first-hand performance of actors. The actors are willing to learn their lines and perform and live through that moment in their life, and imbibing and changing every moment of their acting in front of the camera is a life, a new life that they live. So for me, that is very, very important. That the 2 hours or 2.5 hours of time that you dedicate to watch a film is actually you're going through a lifetime of experience. And I want that experience to be truthful, genuine. And I hoped, I always thought when I was in the film school, either I was born in the wrong place or in the wrong time. But now I feel, looking back at my 25 years of my work and experience and what Indian cinema has gone through, and what the journey that both of us were able to make 15 years ago and years before that, I feel I'm in the best time and in the best place. And that's because of only one factor: the hope that things will change, the hope that tomorrow is a better day.
Jim?
Hello.
He was supposed to answer the question.
Hello.
Let him finish. That's it.
No, not me.
Okay. Anand Rai and,
Sure.
Rakesh Mehra. So that's a secret. Yeah. Thank you.
Jimmy, there's a question for you. Jimmy Jean Lewis.
Yes.
What is the audience going to get from your character,
Well, it's a character that appears in a moment where Najeeb's character was really in grave danger. He's almost like an angel that appears out of nowhere. I think what I would like the audience to go home with is the fact that you can decide to do something great for someone without expecting anything in return. just because of the sake of humanity. And if it does that, then I'll be happy.